Hello, my name is Anna Cook, and this is my Module 14 case study for EDL 852. So, just wanted to start with the facts of what we know. With our case study, we know that we are in a rural community. 60% of our students live on farms, and we know that they are interested in opening a new middle school in the community, which is pretty significant. They had just split the K-12 into an elementary and a middle, like kind of secondary school. And they are now creating just a middle school. And so this is a year in advance of it opening. But Susan Potter was selected to be the principal, and she values her community partnership, and she created an advisory committee, and it's to help plan and carry out the vision for the new school. This community did vote in favor of the school, but it was 53 to 47%. New staff, which creates some challenges. Why develop a vision? A vision significantly influences the community, especially in a rural community. The school plays a significant role. It creates loyalty and buy-in from community members, which then in turn help you achieve your goals. It concisely helps you state your purpose, and it can guide short-term and long-term goals. A visionary leader. I believe that a visionary leader should be sincere and committed, organized, have a big picture or vision in mind, communicative, resourceful, and original and creative. I think that these are qualities that can help a visionary leader be successful in most situations. Mission and vision working together. I believe that missions help achieve visions. A mission should be reinforcing the vision statement, and the vision should be reinforcing the missions. I believe that it should be visible constantly in the building or whatever the task is at hand, and it should be demonstrated. The values of the mission and vision should be demonstrated by leaders, staff, and community. So specifically to this case study, I think that sharing a vision statement is an opportunity for Susan to share with the committee. She was hired. There were a lot of applicants, and she was hired kind of with her unique suburban background coming to the rural area. It's kind of her first chance to make an impression and kind of guide the committee. I understand some hesitation with wanting to chair it because it's she's already the administrator, so it might look like too much of a position of power. But I think in the rural community, people wear many hats, and it's inspiring to see a new leader come in and kind of change the culture. I think that it initiates and encourages collaboration, creates the buy-in, and is a great statement to shape all future policies with. I think that Susan's response showed a lack of communication and the order of operations between Helen and Susan. I think that everybody had good intentions, but just it's a classic example of going about things differently, trying to reach the same goal. If there was community input, which is Susan's goal, she wanted the community to have input and put it up against her, but she was so focused on what is needed and what is valued that she didn't really assert why she was the leader and what she has to offer. Helen's response, I thought it was appropriately called a rubber stamp approval. Just they wanted, I think, probably the first few missions for this committee to be successful and to go quickly without any red tape. So she was trusting the administrator to do their job She was trusting Susan to guide them, but she could have offered some more support and been understanding of the position. And that by supporting Susan, that would have created more community buy-in because Helen already has a great deal of pull in that community. When you follow a committee's wishes, it has pros and cons. Supporting and wanting Susan to succeed, that is huge. And customizing support for the new school and the development, and there's not a lot of red tape. If you're doing what the committee wants, they already feel like they know what the needs are in the community, and if you already make actions toward achieving what that committee wants, you're not going to get a lot of resistance or red tape. If you follow the committee's wishes, it also has some negative aspects. I already stated earlier, but Susan was selected for this position because of her perspective. Is she bringing what is needed? Is the committee helping the administration understand community priorities? Are they in touch with what is best for students? Is the community representing the demographic accurately and what the needs are? And what happens if this is not successful? What happens to Susan? Because she's kind of out on a limb here. Is she sticking to her personal vision, or is she kind of altering her vision and mission based on what she thinks the committee wants? So I actually worked in a rural school, and now I work in a suburban school. So I actually really identified with this case study. Trade school versus college attendance was a very hot topic whenever I was in a rural area, because I underestimated how many of the students would actually go to college, and how many of them, it wasn't a sense of means, it was a true desire, and did they think it was important. A lot of the students knew that they were going to graduate and go on to a trade school, so they didn't really think that it was important to attend certain classes, or certainly not to take standardized testing. So I think monitoring trade school versus college attendance needs student attendance data, standardized test scoring is super important. Is the mission statement personalized to the community, and does it reflect the goals for the data? And does it motivate students? Can we use the data to motivate students when they see the rewards and effect of coming to school has on their lives directly? Stakeholder polls. I think stakeholder polls are an incredible resource that could be utilized, particularly in a rural area. I think that that would get a lot of support. You get great community input. It's an opportunity to get new support and involvement from different members of the community. I believe it's an accurate assessment of attitude, and you can accurately assess, is this an effective form of communication? Does it create an opportunity for change and addressing issues? Involving others. I think that involving others is essential, because how can you be a building leader if you don't have anyone to lead? Buying in from the community is everything, especially in that rural demographic, because, well, it's rural, so there's not a lot going on, and the school provides not just education, but programs and sports, and a lot of kids come to school and find passions that lead to other careers. And so it's important to involve as many people in the community as you can with your school, so that it can centralize the role that the school plays in the community. Communicating with the demographic regarding the needs is super important, especially in a rural area. Finding common goals. As I said before, the leader can finally lead people, delegating, giving other responsibilities, and overall it will strengthen the vision and the missions of the building. Vision and goals. How do you research other buildings, other organizations, other businesses, and how they meet their vision. So I think there's a couple different ways you could go about this. You could research similar schools, similar elementary with a separate middle school and a separate secondary high school. You could research demographic. That could be geographical location. That could be ethnicity of the schools. That could be size. And you could compare other businesses and organizations that have and schools that have similar vision statements. How did they create missions and paths to achieve their goals, and how did it compare against their vision statement? I think this case study was extremely relevant. Many elements of this case study are applicable to real-life scenarios, even though this exact case study might not come along. It addresses rural culture. It addresses pioneering a new position and how intimidating that might be, but also kind of clarifying the role that a leader has, forming any new committee, and some miscommunications that can happen along the way. And I do believe that a strong and clear vision will always guide the missions. Thank you for watching.